guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Wednesday, and that means tonight was AEW Dynamite. And overall, I thought AEW Dynamite was a really good show. I enjoyed just about all of tonight's Dynamite. Now, there are some things where I was like, that's not for me, which is, as I always say, the Toni Storm stuff. The Toni Storm stuff is just not for me. I liked the character when she first started, and I was like, oh, this could be funny. This could be entertaining. And then after about 3 weeks, I was like, I'm done with it. It's not for me. And like I've said before, not everything is going to be for everyone. So not everything is going to hit with every single person. Not everyone's going to like everything the exact same. And so you're entitled to your own opinions. You're entitled to like what you like. I put on Twitter, I was like, that wasn't all that good. And someone goes, I hope you're not saying the Toni Storm promo, because that was great. Or something like that. And I was like, I was. Because it just didn't do it for me. But other than that, I thought it was a really good show. I thought the main event itself was really good. I thought Hook and Samoa Joe had a really good match. But then the big question is, it's like, okay, so they made Hook look like a guy that can take a beating. A guy that ain't gonna say no. And it's not gonna, how do I explain it? Hook's a guy that's not just gonna be steamrolled. Yes, he's not gonna beat the world champion, but he's gonna hang-ish. But my big question here, and we've seen this happen with Tony Khan before, now what? What is next for Hook? You have this good moment with Hook, but there needs to be legit something better for him going forward than just matches on Rampage. Oh, he's going to randomly face this guy on Rampage. He's going to randomly face this guy on Collision. Oh, another random Rampage match that means nothing. So, again, Samoa Joe and Hook was entertaining. It told a story, which most AEW matches don't do. But overall, to me, I can't say that this was successful until we see the follow-up for Hook. That's my whole thing. I can't say that this was successful until we see what's next for Hook. If Hook is just back facing randos, I don't even know. Just random people on Collision and Rampage, then it was maybe all for nothing. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel here on Twitch one of two different ways. You can subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, it doesn't just have to be your Amazon Prime account. It can be anybody's Amazon Prime account, whether that's your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your grandma, your grandpa, your auntie, your uncle, your dog walker, your milkman, your grocery store attendant, anybody. Also, remember, head over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. That way you know when we post on the community tab and so forth. Hit the join button to become a channel member to support the channel. And remember, the best way to make sure that your comment, question, or concern does get read live on the air, well, donate a super chat in the live chat on YouTube. Also, don't forget to head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether getting the brand new Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is a super fun game. Heck, go download the demo for it on the Epic Game Store and use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout. Heck, we got other games you can get. Tennis Elbow Manager 2, it's only $11.99 right now. The free game, Sail Forth, which is only free for just a little bit longer till the end of tonight. Cool. Tomorrow, like 8 a.m. Or you get bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys. Again, use our code right here, PWUNLIMITED, for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. Also, no Luke tonight. He had a school commitment that he had to attend to. So, going solo. With that, as far as AEW Dynamite does go, the show did kick off with the TNT title match. Christian Cage versus Dustin Rhodes. I thought for 99% of this match, it was great. Really good, really good, really good. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And then what the hell was that finish? Like, Dustin's just in the corner, hunched over, bent over, just sitting there. Christian's on the other side like he's waiting for a spear or something. And then an Imprettier, Dustin kicks out. Second Imprettier, he pins him. What? Very weird. Very weird last like 30, 45 seconds of this match. Maybe a minute or so. Other than that, I thought this TNT title match was so good. Predictable, but really, really good. But their slow feeling out process, Cage baited Rhodes into a test of strength, only to lead to a cheap shot. Rhodes responded with a snap power slam as Cage took a powder, trying to pull the legs out and post Rhodes, who used the leg strength to pull Cage face first into the steel steps. Rhodes then remained on the offense back inside the ring with corner punches, but Cage answered with some fighting of his own. He fought off a superplex, sent Rhodes to the floor, and followed up with a dive. Christian out here, an older guy. I don't know, how old's Christian Cage? Christian Cage out here at 50 years old, still doing dives to the outside. Like, holy smokes. No Adam Copeland tonight, though. Adam Copeland will be on Percy Jackson next week. He was on last week, and he's got a second episode next week where I think he's going to have the big battle with Percy. Anyways, go watch Percy Jackson on Disney+. Great show. Great show. Where was I? Rhodes wanted an unnatural kick, but Cage got free. Rhodes responded with a drop down punch and a code red for a 2, and then teased a dive, but Cage cut him off with the right hand and a frog splash back inside the ring for a 2 of his own. Cage grabbed the TNT title and argued with referee Aubrey Edwards, who took the title as Rhodes had a visible cradle pin. But Wayne reversed it, and Rhodes kicked out a 2. Rhodes started hulking up, wanting to go for another bulldog, but Cage dodged. Went to the second, had the leg swept, and Rhodes took Cage to what Taz would call the Yambag City. He had the unnatural kick. The old shattered dreams, I guess you would call it. After a superplex, Rhodes hit the crossroads for a close near fall. Wayne then tripped up Rhodes as the ref was looking right at him. So, like, he didn't really trip up Rhodes, but he tried to trip up Rhodes. This was dumb. So, like, Rhodes goes for that pin, and Nick Wayne's like, kick out, Christian, kick out. And then they get up. Referee's looking right at Nick Wayne, and he grabs at the legs of Dustin. Aubrey don't say a word. She just realizes she saw it and looks away. What? Come on. So Cage distracts the referee. After this, Rhodes fought off kill switch, and he blocked the Wayne's World into a Canadian Destroyer on the floor. Rhodes back inside the ring. Missed a corner charge, allowing Cage to hit a spear and a kill switch, but Rhodes kicked out and surprised everyone. Rhodes then flipped Cage off, hit him with another kill switch, and there we go. So this was the weird part. So Dustin's in the corner, and he's just like this in the corner. It's so weird. He's just like bent over, head between the top and middle rope, turnbuckle, whatever you're going to say. And then he like slowly backs out, looking around like he's super confused. I don't know if I'm not going to say the C word, but he's looking super confused. And then he gets a spear and a kill switch. He kicks out, flips off Christian. Christian picks him up. He hits him with another, and he pins him. Like, what? This was just very weird. Go to the back. Renee Paquette's with Swerve Strickland, who said that he'd be foolish not to pay attention to the main event tonight. That it doesn't matter if you're Joe or Hook. He's focused on winning the world title, not that Continental. Now that the Continental Classic is over, as he was the talk of the tournament. Was he, though? I thought Brian was the talk of the tournament, to be completely honest. Brian and Eddie Kingston were really the talks of the tournament. Paquette brings up Hangman Page, and Strickland said that he has eyes everywhere. Page is an impeccable performer, beating Roderick Strong, Claudio Castagnoli, and JD Drake. He then would basically call himself stronger than God with the line, quote, "If God opened up the clouds above us, came down from the heavens and everyone on earth challenged him, I think Hangman Page would have a chance. But he still can't beat me. Or he still couldn't beat me. Like, damn. You say you're stronger than God. The Hangman might be able to beat God, but he can't beat me. I was like, Jesus Christ. He then ended with whose house? Swerve's house. Also, they got to turn off the crowd noise. If there's other things going on in the arena when they cut to the back, you need to turn off the crowd noise. Because apparently Dustin took his time to get out of the ring and walk to the back, and the crowd cheered for him a couple of different times. And we heard it on the broadcast while Swerve was doing his interview. And so it was just very odd. And it did it again later during, I want to say it was the Jericho interview as well, where it's like the crowd's reacting to something that's not the interview. Actually, it's here right next up after the break. Renee Paquette's backstage with Chris Jericho, asking where he and she said, basically, you had the tag titles taken from you. You had it all but one. What's next for you and Sammy after losing the street fight? Jericho said that they lost only because of Konosuke Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs getting involved. Jericho said his win over Takeshita a month ago in Japan doesn't mean as much as it used to. Now, he will seek to destroy Takeshita. Matt Sidell will then walk up and say, hey, you need a match? How about you face someone that's beaten you before? Jericho then says, you may have been born for this, which an Evan Bourne reference because that was his WWE name. And Jericho said, if you really want to do this, we can do it this Friday on Rampage. So, very weird, very odd kind of setup. But AEW does this a lot, where one guy's talking, and then someone will just walk right up and go, oh, you want to fight me? You didn't say my name or anything, but I want to fight you. Let's have a match. Orange Cassidy does this, where someone will be talking. They'll be saying, we haven't been given opportunities. And then all of a sudden, Orange Cassidy will walk up and go, you want to face me for the belt? International title on the line Friday. So, yeah. Weird way to set up a match, but what we got. Friday, which is actually being filmed tonight. Jericho versus Matt Sidell. Because Sidell walks up and Jericho's like, hey, Sidell. So, very weird. They had a really fun match. It was, speaking of Orange Cassidy, the international champion, and Trent Beretta taking on the team of Penta El Zero Miedo and Commander. This match was action-packed and a lot of fun. So, Chuck Taylor was at ringside. He's not cleared to compete, so, well, he had to be in the corner. Same with Ray Phoenix, not cleared to compete, so he was in his brother's corner. And Penta and Cassidy took turns with their poses early on. Then Penta kicked out the legs of Cassidy, who responded with a series of arm drags. Penta avoided a around-the-world DDT and cut off a pocket pose, sending Cassidy outside, but was cut off by Beretta. Commander flew in with a springboard and followed it up with a dive on Cassidy to the outside. Back inside the ring, Beretta turned Commander inside out with a half-and-half suplex as Cassidy took control during a picture-in-picture break. Back from the break, Commander escaped a tree of woe, sent Beretta to the floor, and launched Cassidy into the corner as Penta made the hot tag and ran wild with sling blades. A stalling made in Japan was hit on Cassidy as Commander wiped out Beretta with a dive. Beretta then saved his partner from an assisted fear factor as Cassidy laid out Penta with an around-the-world DDT. Beretta then really laid it into Commander with some forearms, but Commander answered with multiple near falls. Penta blindsided Beretta with pump kicks and followed it up with a step-up Canadian Destroyer as Commander hit a rope walk splash for a 2. Cassidy then broke it up. Commander wanted a Phoenix Splash, but Beretta avoided it and hit a running knee to turn Commander inside out. Penta tried a springboard, but Cassidy shoved his partner aside and hit a mid-move beach break. Orange Cassidy then hit the orange punch, sent Commander into Beretta, who hit the crunchy roll and picked up the victory. Excuse me. So there we go. We get best friends, Trent Beretta, Orange Cassidy, picking up the victory. Post-match, they go for the trio hug, but out would instead come the Undisputed Kingdom. It was only Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett. No Wardlow, no Adam Cole, even though they were there. Or we're supposed to believe that they were there. Maybe this was a thing taped last week that we saw with them. I don't know. Anyways. Strong told Cassidy, take off your glasses. I have a question for you. And having your glasses on is disrespectful. He said, if being international champion has become too much for you since he's taken tag matches now, maybe you should defend that title against me. Strong said that the title belongs to him, and he's coming for it. Cassidy said that they can do it right here, right now, if he really wants to. Strong then took his shirt off like he was going to do it, and then declined, saying Cassidy will have to wait until Revolution. So they're really going to build this thing up for a month and a half. A month and a half. Like, god damn. Strong says he wants Cassidy to wait for the next 6 or so weeks to accept the realization that it's going to be Strong's belt on March 3rd. I just think that's a little too long to build this up. I get it if it's like, oh, you won the Royal Rumble, so you got to wait till Mania to get your title shot. Okay, whatever. But to be like, I want to fight you for the belt, and then be like, but I don't want to fight you for 6 weeks. What shit? So what? Orange can't defend the title for the next 6 weeks? What if he defends it and loses? Then what? Like, he's not going to, storyline-wise, but just saying. Just saying. Jordan Epic gets backstage with Hangman Adam Page. He said that you won't find another soul on this planet who needs the AEW World title as much as he does. He said in 2022, he will make the title his and keep it that way as long as he can. Kept brought up Swerve Strickland, saying how Page can't beat him. Page says he doesn't think about Strickland at all. He said he's not the world champion. Samoa Joe is. And God be with Hook if he's the champ by the end of the night. I really think they're going to lead to a triple threat with Joe, Swerve, and Hangman. It's what it sounds like. Like, this is going to end up a triple threat. And if that's the case, I don't like it. If Swerve is the one going for the belt, why is Hangman also going for the belt when Swerve has already beat him twice? Yeah, Hangman's beat a couple people, JD Drake and a few others, but it's like, if Swerve is the one going for the title, then why is also Hangman when we know Swerve is quote-unquote better than Hangman? Swerve's beat him twice. Now, if this was like Moxley and Swerve both wanting to go for the belt, that's a different story. Swerve hadn't beat Moxley multiple times, so you set that up. Whatever. Triple threat. Because if they end up saying, we're going to do a number one contenders match, Swerve and Hangman, I'm going to go, no, please don't. Because Swerve has already beat Hangman twice. What does he need to prove anymore against Hangman? He doesn't. If it was 1-1, completely different story. But it's not. It's 2-0. And Swerve told him that later tonight when he went 2-2. So, yeah. Then a tremendous segment. Justin Roberts introduces Mark Briscoe and the Briscoe family. Some of the family were sitting at ringside. Some of the family were backstage. Briscoe comes out and says, 1 year ago today, we lost my brother. He said that he's out here today representing the baddest tag team on the planet, them boys, the Briscoe brothers. And I will say, Briscoe's never got to be in AEW. They never made it to WWE. But at least in the last 23 years, they were one of the top, I want to say, 5 best tag teams there is. Like, when you look at the greatest tag teams of this generation, you've got the Usos, you got the Young Bucks, you got the New Day, FTR, and the Briscoes in no specific order. And that's just my opinion. And other people can think differently and be like, I don't throw the New Day on there. Usos, what? Young Bucks, FTR. You can think it however you want. But in my opinion, for this generation, from 2000 to 2024, the 5 best tag teams there have been, and again, no specific order, the Usos, the Young Bucks, FTR, New Day, the Briscoes. And I can see people, well, what about SoCal Uncensored? What about, a litany of other teams? But when you think about it, those are the first teams that pop in my head. because they're, in my opinion, the best teams. I mean, you can always be like, oh, the OC were great. War Machine, now Viking Raiders, they were a great tag team. But in all retrospect, in my opinion, those are the 5 best tag teams of this generation. I feel like when you talk about this generation that kicked off after the Attitude Era, 2000 to 2000, like, I feel like the new generation, if we're saying like this generation or the new generation, kind of kicked off when TNA started. WWE bought WCW in 2001. TNA then came in 2002, and right around there, ROH was formed then. That's when this generation of wrestlers started, in my opinion. And it's slowly starting to fizzle out. John Cena's not around as much. Brock Lesnar's not around as much. The Undertaker's retired, even though he was mostly the other generation. So it's just like, yeah, this generation's best tag teams. Usos, New Day, FTR, Bucks, Briscoes. 5 best teams of the generation. Anyways, Mark talks about the tragedy 1 year ago, losing his brother, and how his niece was told, and how his nieces were also in that car, with one being told by doctors she would never walk again. Just then, Jay's 3 kids came out on stage, and Mark said, God is on the throne, as they won't stop, because they can't stop. And the girl, the young daughter of Jay Briscoe, jamming, that was told she would never walk again, was walking all by herself, no problem. Mark thanks everyone from the bottom of their hearts and hugs the kids. Absolutely incredible moment. After that, they replayed the Jay Briscoe tribute video that aired a year ago. So yeah, great moment. Super cool to see all the family there, whether that was the 3 kids that came out on the stage with Mark or the rest of the family that were sitting front row. All of it fantastic. As we move forward, we got just a ridiculously stupid ass segment with Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, the EVPs of All Elite Wrestling. Renee Paquette's sitting in the back with the Young Bucks and their new Vince McMahon mustaches. She said, you guys requested this time. And she goes, Matt, Nick, and he goes, no. Call us by our God-given names, Nicholas and Matthew. We're executive vice presidents in this company, and we need to take this job, and we need to be taken more serious. Paquette brought up people saying that they threw temper tantrums and had meltdowns. Matthew then cuts her off and said, those rumors are fake, but let's pretend they're true for a second. What would you do to make sure that everything that you had wasn't lost? What would you be willing to do to maintain a thriving wrestling company that you started called AEW? What would you do if it meant losing? Could it mean losing friendships and ruining reputations? Matthew said, hell yeah. He'd do it all over again. And asked Paquette if she got her paycheck this week. And then it was like, yeah, you're welcome. It was very weird. He then said that when they started AEW, the mantra was change the world. And we're doing just that. Well, until they lost their way. And the culture changed, and the toxicity seeped in. I bet you that was a Punk reference. Matthew said that it was due to lean into self-serving, superficial superstars. It says Sting is anything but that. As he's hopeful people talk about themselves the same way people talk about Sting years from now. He said, though, Sting is the last of a dying breed. It is not what we wanted for AEW. In order to change the world, they need to say goodbye to Sting and anyone that is like him. Paquette says, so is this your official call out? Are you the ones that want to face Sting in his last match? Nicholas looks at his phone and goes, we're EVPs. We can make this happen. We pulse. Oh, I don't really have much faith in this. This is kind of just meh. So as we move forward, we had six-man ROH six-man tag team titles on the line. It was the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage defending against Jay White and the Guns. So I do apologize if the stream is freezing. I'm having more internet connection issues. So I do apologize for that. But it's like, okay, Jay White went from, he was so good at one point that he was able to steal the world title from the world champion. Then he was a world title number one contender challenger. Then